Hello, our little lifers. Mark Little here. Welcome to the first episode of a new playlist that we want to start here called Keeping It Real. Now, obviously, the entire channel is Keeping It Real, but this is a little bit deeper. I'm wanting to start this playlist. Donna will probably join me on future episodes, but it's going to really, delve off into really deeper, serious, topics to where we can have some other videos that are more lighthearted, just, life and recipes, this and that. But this is going to be keeping it real on real life events. I just recently lost both of my parents within 2.5 months of each other. And that definitely causes a lot of soul searching. And I just want to come on here and start this first video on keeping it real and sharing some of my experiences. And the goal of this and the goal of this channel, as well as the Coop Scoop channel that this is a spinoff from, is to make a positive impact on our subscribers' life. Because hey, let's keep it real. Life is pretty intense. We're all going through stuff. You may be going through a good season. That's great. Celebrate it. You may be going through a very deep, dark season. And we need each other to keep it real and help each other's navigate this life. So sit back, relax. I'm going to get off into some pretty deep stuff here personally. And let me know if you want this type of content to keep going, if you want the Keeping It Real playlist to continue to grow, and give us your feedback. Let us know if we're making a difference in your life. So again, sit back, relax, and let me kick this off and see you in a minute. All right. Let me start out by setting this up. I have a podcast for my company that kind of specialize in senior living. We help families navigate the process of aging loved ones and making the decisions for their care, whether it's needing in-home care, in-home health. We connect them with all the resources that they do not know is out there a lot of times. And at the end of the day, we place them into assisted living, memory care, even assisted living. But a lot of that, there's a lot of unpaid social work. It's loving on families, helping them through a very, very challenging time. I've also had a podcast that I had started, The Soul Reason, and I've always had this deep longing to just be super transparent. And I've had this longing to matter, to make a difference in people's lives amidst my own struggles, because we all have them. But it gets challenging. It becomes, just constantly juggling balls, spinning plates, trying to, question, does it matter? God, do you want me to do this kind of stuff? And I've made some episodes in the past, but life's been heavy the past few years, especially with mom and dad, and then even professionally. But with the success Donna has had with the Coop Scoop and the enjoyment of that channel, of just having chickens as pets and watching many of you that are subscribers over there and your comments, and seeing the difference that simple channel makes. Just a simple life of chicken keeping. And Donna so enjoys animals. She has always been an animal person, and her heart is huge. I've always joked and said, if there was such of a thing as reincarnation, like, God, if I die, let me come back as one of Donna's pets. You be winning the lottery of life there as an animal. But anyway, we kind of started our little life Again, the big impact was us sharing the story of my dad and the daughter that he had in Okinawa that I had no clue of until a few years back. And that video is just the journey of how that unfolded, how that happened, and actually getting to see my dad meet his daughter 70 some odd years later. It's a pretty powerful story. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It'd be worth your watch. So anyway, we decided to re-engage here. The dust is settling from the passing of mom and dad. And like I had said, it's been 3 years of very difficult time with especially mom. And it's just deep in my heart that I want to have an outlet for a keeping it real type of playlist. So here we are. I do want your feedback. I do want you to let me know if the things that I share and that Donna share truly matter, because I don't know about you guys, but at 61 years old, I find myself utterly bewildered with life in society. It's not really something that I love to have experience on, because there's so many personalities in life. You got your big, tough, macho dude. You've got the super successful, always positive, always best foot forward. We all strive to be that way. And I've been self-employed my whole life, and I've been on semi-retired a couple of times and thought that I was where I was going to be, and God had other plans, and it caused some deflections, and one thing leads to the next, which in essence has kind of led to the creation of these channels and what God wants to do with it. And I know there's a lot of people like, here we go with the God stuff. I get it, man. I've struggled with my faith, but I've also have experienced a personal relationship with Christ. And when you're firing on all cylinders and you're having that childlike faith to be able to withstand the storms of life that are going to come. But sometimes those experiences come with a heavy blow, and it tests your mettle, it tests your faith. And like Job, some stand strong, like my dad always stood strong with his faith. Me, not so much. I got plowed over spiritually in my younger years. And you read stories in the Bible that you're like, wandering in the wilderness, the Israelites, for 40 years. What is up? Like, how are you that lost? Well, now I know. Life has been such a roller coaster of just emotions, and I've experienced a nervous breakdown from the pressures of business and the things that come along with that. And I know what that's like. I don't want to be the poster child for that, but I want God to take my experiences and help others, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that no matter what it looks like on the outside, no matter how strong someone appears, no matter how happy someone appears, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. And that gets into keeping it real, being transparent and sharing your innermost, almost secret thoughts. I was the baby of 3 older sisters. My mom and dad were not highly educated people. They grew up in the Depression. But they knew the value of money, saving, pinching pennies, morals, Christian values, that they lived with purpose to make sure they did their best to raise their children and point them towards a relationship with God. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. Was it confusing? Yeah. Because when you're growing up, you don't see your parents as people. They're your parents, right? You don't realize what they're going through as husband and wife. What they're going through as dad trying to build a business, mom trying to be the homemaker, which is one of the hardest jobs out there, ladies. And some guys that try to take on that role. But fast forward, the point I'm wanting to get to on this particular Keeping It Real is the past 3-4 years when mom and dad, God gave them the ability to get old. I know many of you may not have had a close relationship with your mother and father, or one or the other. My wife, Donna, has a good relationship with her mother, but her father, man, he was a piece of crap. He really was. Matter of fact, Donna, they moved constantly. I don't think she ever got to finish high school or school with one school year. Never got to go to the same school. Anyway, I was raised in the leave it to beaver type of environment, right? Ward goes off to provide, and June stays home and raises the kids. We were in church pretty much every time the door was open. And you blink and you're 61 years old. And you're dealing with your parents getting older. And you're watching them lose their friends. You're watching them lose their ability to do things, their motor skills, dad's hearing going. It's like it sneaks up on you. When was the last time mom cooked a meal in the kitchen? The last time dad drove a car? It's subtle. It's a constant ebb and flow of change. And then when mom, she had, I think I say this right, osteoporosis, brittle bones. A few years back, she really started getting to the point where she's having a hard time. So me and my sisters started taking turns spending the night because dad couldn't hear. When his hearing aids were out, he's pretty much dead to the world. So mom was becoming a fall risk when she got up during the night to go to the bathroom. So we started rotating nights. Didn't take long to that kind of outgrew our abilities, and so we started hiring a nurse to come, nurses changing shift and come and spend the night. And that went on for a while, and then in December of 23, mom fell ill with what was pneumonia. They said it was COVID pneumonia, but regardless, it was pneumonia. And I remember when I'm on a flag lot behind them, and when rescue was called, I remember going out there, and I just had this sense that mom wasn't coming back. And we kind of locked eyes when she was being rolled out of the gurney, and I really felt in my spirit that was it. And me and one of my sisters, Cindy, went up there, and Debbie was taking care of some other stuff with dad and all. And we get up there, and they have this industrial, I guess, CPAP machine, and it was bad. It was really bad. So fast forward, we're told she's not going to survive the hospital. Well, next thing you know, she did. And we had to save her from the hospital. So we made the decision. I called some colleagues, like, should we go to rehab? Should we come home with hospice? What should we do? Because, depends on the decision you make at discharge, matters, put it that way. So we brought her home with hospice. We were told she will never be off oxygen. So hospice brings the equipment. And it wasn't too long. This was January of 23. It wasn't too long. Mom's like, still aware, of course, still able to talk, and was just tired, didn't want to be on oxygen the rest of their life. And it's like, it's time to I want to go be with Jesus moments. So hospice orders morphine, and we're all prepared. This is it. She's gonna pass. Well, she didn't. So, man, that's when it really, really began. This was around, I guess March of 24, and it just continued on and on and on. Dad's social life was horrible. He just sitting in the room. By that time, we had 24-hour nursing care. We had like 4 or 5 nurses that rotated shifts. And man, was it expensive. For $15,000 a month. They had long-term care insurance. Mom's policy covered $5,100 of that, so they're still coming out of pocket about $10,000 a month. I was proud of Mom and Dad that they prepared so well, but they wasn't multi-millionaires, and just by being in the industry, I knew how fast that would go by, and I was trying to make my suggestions, but I was resisted by my siblings, and that's a whole nother topic. We'll leave that one there. But the suffering was horrible. And she just continued to decline month after month after month, and we're just questioning God, like, what are you doing? What is there to be learned from all this? And so, fast forward a little bit, about I guess it was the first of the year, this year. Dad was complaining about his stomach was hurting. And so, long story short, he ended up having to have emergency surgery and have like 8 inches of his intestines removed. He had double hernia surgery a couple years back, and scar tissue had damaged his intestines. So that was a surprise. So then there's Dad trying to make the decisions of him getting discharged from the hospital. Wasn't sure he was going to make it right through surgery because of his age. And anesthesia is pretty rough, especially when you get that old. So he comes home once again. That was a good time to place him in better care, but again, I was outvoted on that one. So Dad didn't really rehab like he should have, and he just kind of slowly started getting weak. And so we ended up having him finally move to a place to, maybe get some better rehab, and he wasn't in there a day and a half, and he died. I was expecting Dad was going to get a little bit better and have a little bit of quality of life, and he's got a brother that's several years older than him, I think 97 years old. So that was a little bit of a shocker. And then we still have Mom that we're dealing with. And so, without going on and on and on, we finally, a little over a month ago, ended up having Mom go to the nursing home, or the same company that was providing in-home hospice. And I've got some videos of her that I literally, when I would go there, I started finding myself getting angry at God. Like, what is the point to this suffering? What is there to learn from this? Didn't get no answer. I don't think we really get answers like that. His ways are not our ways, so I guess we just have to accept that as it is. So anyway, Mom passed, and then the dust kind of starts settling and going through the house and starting to get rid of stuff and get it ready to rent, and coming across life. We moved into that house when I was in 3rd grade. Lots of memories there, right? Told Donna, well, yeah, one day people are going to go through our crap, and it always reminds me of Ecclesiastes, the Bible. It's foolishness. It's all chasing the wind. That's kind of the way I feel. Like, what's it all about? And what's the lesson to be learned on this episode of Keeping It Real and listening to all my babbling and talking and pontificating here on this episode? And here's the conclusion I'm coming to. You're a believer. If you're not, you've once was, lost your faith, somewhere in between. We don't belong here. Our home is not this earth. We're created by God to worship God and honor God. He's not to answer to us. He doesn't have to explain everything. He gives us commandments. There's rules to life. And if we don't follow those rules because we have that thing called free will, well, choices have consequences. And we spend our entire life reaping the results of the consequences of our decisions. And at 61, like many of you watching, man, do we have some consequences we're dealing with. Multiply that with the current state of affairs in our country, the social and moral decay, the political upheaval. It's insanity what we're witnessing. And how people don't notice it is beyond me. This world is unraveling. Revelation speaks of that, right? Like toward the end days, men's heart will grow faint. I don't know about you, but mine's growing faint. And this has nothing to do with Mark, be positive and manifest things you want. Like, no, this is real. This is keeping it real. This is life. You can be all the positive you want, but it doesn't change the fact that there's a lot of bad things going on, and you're not going to just positive it away. It's real. And it's important that we all pay attention to what's going on and that we pay attention to God so God can soften our hearts and allow us to start paying attention to what is our purpose here. Because when our focus is on fear, worry, anxiety, being overly consumed with being entertained all the time, the foods that we want to eat, just being all consumed and lovers of this world, we get totally lost. And then relationships fail. Our health can fail. A lot of things can fail. So what I want to tie into full circle to make a difference to you listening to me, and if you're still here, thank you for spending the time to get to this point. So what's going on in your life? What are you running from? What are you struggling with? What are your habits? What is your thought life like? Is your heart hardened? Are you mad at God? Do you not believe in God? Like, where are you at? Are you overwhelmed? We all have different circumstances. We've all had things happen to us. And some of those things that happened to us have happened way back when, and we still haven't healed from it. But life keeps on ticking, right? So like, how long are you supposed to mourn the loss of a loved one, or in my case, the loss of your parents in 2.5 months, losing them both? Doesn't matter that they were in their 90s. They're gone. And all I have is the memories, the woulda, shoulda, couldas, which gets back into have less woulda, shoulda, couldas by learning to live with purpose. And that's what I'm trying to do, is learning to live with intention. Donna has been good at that. She's really good at being, I call it emotionally intelligent. I'm the emotional one, right? Self-admitted. But with mom and dad, and looking back over their life and going through pictures and just all the memories and all the different stages of life and all the ups and downs that they went through and we went through as a family, here we are. So I'm having a little bit of a struggle knowing how to accept it all and have it matter to the point to where I have good things come from it. Because the past few years, as difficult as they were, that's done and over with. So how do I honor my mom and dad and their legacy? And how do I forget the bad things of our family, because we all have them, and look at the good, the blessings, the lessons learned, the faith taught? That's what I want us all to try to do. That's what I want you to take from this episode, is to take a pause, take whatever circumstance that you're going through right now in your life. If you're in a good season, great, celebrate it. But if you're struggling, if you're hung up, if you're stalled, if your heart's hard, it doesn't have to stay that way. Because we're all going to blink and our moment's going to come. So between now and then, let's try to make a difference in someone else's life and take the focus off of ourselves and look at how God can use us, because that's what we're here for, is to bring honor and glory to God and allow Him to use us to impact other people's lives. In my case, it's being a transparent man and sharing what I feel from my heart and being a little bit tender, because that's what my dad was. My dad was raised in a very abusive environment. He never received any kind of love from his father at all. Beat, mistreated, talked down to. And thank God my dad stopped that from continuing. And he did his best to show us, his children, love and compassion and forgiveness and the beauty of the love that Christ provides. I'm thankful for that. So there we are, guys. I hope that I made sense. I'm a freestyler. I always have been. I just kind of talk and share as things come to my mind. Sometimes I can get off on a little different type of pig trail, but hope it made sense. I hope it made a difference. So what now? Just try to matter. Try to forgive yourself. Try to forgive others. And no matter what's going on, all we have is right now. Don't worry about tomorrow. Forget about yesterday. I'm talking to myself here. Donna would be laughing at this because she always tries to tell me this. So I'm telling it to you because it's true. So I'm Mark, Our Little Life. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you thought about this. And if you want this particular playlist to continue, And until next time, we will see you on the next episode.